Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Last week I mentioned a two-part video, therefore today I will be building the shelves of a bookcase that I will finish in next week's video. I chose to build this bookshelf entirely out of Baltic birch plywood, and I'm using cedar for the spacers of the shelves, and also a little bit of sapele mahogany. It's worth mentioning this is actually half-inch Baltic birch plywood. I wanted to stop the rhythm for a second and mention the track that I have playing on the background of my episode. A great friend of mine by the name of Dan Heimlich, who also goes by the name of Soulstorming on SoundCloud, was kind enough to let me use this track of his as a part of my video. I will put a link on the description of the episode, and I hope that you can all go and check him out. He is a great violin player and a wonderful producer. I took each piece to mark out the location of my very shallow dados that I will cut in order to make it easier to line up all of the spacers that will eventually house the very shallow drawers that I will build in next week's video. As you can see, I'm trying to make sure that I can fit one 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with no problem. I should be getting anywhere from about 4 to 5 drawers for each shelf. This is the first time I'm actually using this second radial arm saw. It's an old Sears Craftsman from the 1980s that I got for about $50 at a garage sale. With a dado blade and a radial arm saw that is about horsepower, I believe this model, you want to make sure that you go through your cut slowly, because if you rush through your cut, it can stall, and as a defense thing, it will stop working and it won't turn back on until, let's say, an hour and a half till the motor cooled. This is the mahogany sapele I was telling you about, and I'm using this for a little bit of these spacers that I will be making, and the other half that will be made out of some cedar that I had from an old speaker stand that I built a few years ago. The block was a little bit too thick for my regular arm saw, so I just decided to flip it over and make my cut that way. And I've just finished the cut with my jigsaw. Then it was over to the joiner, where I wanted to make sure that these pieces will be really square, so I decided to mill these pieces of cedar and get 2 square sides. And after that, I just took them to the planer and finished up the milling process. Here I'm basically splitting the cedar pieces in two, and again I was performing half a cut and flipped it over and cut it that way. Just getting a consistent thickness to my board here. Starting to trim out the pieces to their final dimensions. I have a stop lock on the radial arm, so I'm just cutting them to length. If you're wondering, the spacers are about 2 inches in width and about 1.5 inches, 2 inches in height. So my drawer will be about 1 3/8 inches deep. I'm just using Tie-Bond glue to attach these spacers. This process took quite a while because I had about 6 shelves, and that means a lot of gluing. I had to work in batches because this is Tie-Bond too, and it dries quite quickly. just using some 18 gauge brads in order to act sort of a temporary clamp until the glue dries up. I'm not really worried about the little holes that might show because before I will finish all of these shelves next week, they will all be covered. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to tune into next week's episode in order to see the completion of the bookcase. If you like my content, a subscription, a like, or a share on our social media will help me a lot in continuing to put out videos. Everyone have a great rest of the week, and I will definitely see you next time.